Welcome to the Good Business Dufferin podcast, hosted by the Dufferin Board of Trade through our social enterprise, the Dufferin Biz Hub. Our podcast is based on our belief that small businesses have the power to drive positive change in our community. Whether you're looking to grow your business, strengthen our community, or hopefully both, we've got you covered. Hello, I'm Diana Morris, Executive Director of the Dufferin Board of Trade and the Dufferin Biz Hub. Today, we're excited to have two special guests joining us, Carrie-Anne DeCaprio, Donor Engagement and Outreach Manager, and Laura Campbell, a dedicated food bank supporter and owner of Pia's on Broadway. In today's episode, we'll be diving into some important conversations around food insecurity and the rising demand for food bank services. Carrie-Anne will be sharing her insights on the growing challenges faced by the community and how businesses can play a role in supporting the food bank's mission. We'll also hear from Laura about how Pia's on Broadway is making a difference in the community, and she'll introduce us to a project she's passionate about, a business monthly giving campaign aimed at encouraging local businesses to get involved and give back. But before we get started, we'd like to thank this episode's sponsor, Rotomill, for supporting the podcast and helping local businesses thrive while building up our community. Let's get started. Carrie-Anne, can you help us start by giving us a sense of how the demand for food bank services has risen recently?
So we're actually seeing a 49% increase year over year versus where we were last year. We do know that financially things are very tough with the increase in interest rates in houses and the additional cost of food at the grocery store, in particular fresh produce. So we think that that is a major influence as to why our numbers are increasing so dramatically.
That's a huge increase. Wow. So Laura, you're not only a food bank supporter, but also the owner of Pia's on Broadway. Can you tell us a bit about the work Pia's doing in the community and how it's important to be part of your business model of giving back?
Yeah, so like so many businesses in our community, there are always times of year where doing food drives or campaigns to support the food bank really come to mind. So around Christmas or holidays. But as you know, I have communicated with the food bank over the years, you do know that actually they require support year round. And it's really hard to spread out food from a food drive, especially when it's a perishable good, over a longer period of time. So really, I know from other work I've done, NGOs and nonprofits, they do thrive when they can count on a steady stream of income through the year. And so while we need to continue doing food drives and different campaigns to give to the food bank, irregularly, really the big impact could come if small businesses were giving, making a monthly donation. And so there's a new program that a community member has come up with from Avalon Lavender Farm. And he brought us all in and said, look, if businesses or individuals, if we got 150 of them, gave $150 a month, we could raise, $250,000 a year. And that could be a game changer for the food bank. So for Pia's to go into our own pocket, and to give $150 a month is something that's doable for us. It wouldn't necessarily be doable for every business, but there's some businesses that could perhaps even give more. So I think it's a good way to, support the community. And I would say one of the most vital institutions in this community at this time.
So when we were actually talking about the creation of this project that we're working on, that $150 came around because it costs us approximately $137 a month to feed one person. And with the increase of products, that $150 will basically say, I'm pledging to feed one person every month for the next year, or however long somebody chooses to commit to.
That's amazing. So each business essentially is sponsoring a person for an entire month, and you're looking for 150 businesses to participate?
Yeah, well, that would be incredible.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And so I think we're a food business, and we, if as a business, we've also struggled with the increase in the cost of food. I always give the example, prior to COVID, we were paying, I think, $25 for a case of sweet potatoes. And, Pia's we make really good sweet potato fries. They're very popular. And, once COVID hit, supply chains became an issue, even though we do get them from, they're from Canada. all of a sudden they jumped up to $75 a case. So that is a massive increase. So, and we've seen that across the board with everything from meat to produce to canned goods that we need, to make food. And we make everything fresh in-house every single day. So mayonnaise, we make that every day, and we get, massive cases of eggs. So when the cost of those things go up, it goes up for us. And we've been really trying very hard to keep prices stable. So we try to figure out ways to keep our prices the same. It's really hard. It's really difficult.
I bet. And those rising costs, of course, everyone who uses the food bank is significantly impacted. That's partly why you've seen such an increase. I've read that there's more and more people who are working part-time or full-time jobs and still not able to afford. Are you seeing an increase in those types of people using the bank?
So actually over 20% of all of our clients that are coming in are working full-time or part-time. But I think the largest portion of our demographic that we're seeing an increase in is people that own their own homes. For many, many years, it has been people that are renting or staying in shelters or living on other people's couches that have been the highest portion of the clients that are coming to the food bank. But we're at 23% of our clients actually own their own homes right now.
Wow. And obviously we know that the housing costs in Dufferin County are exorbitant, and the supply is challenging too. So I imagine all of these factors are just making life so difficult for people who need the food bank and need other supports. So have you seen other businesses in other ways besides the monthly giving campaign? What are other ways that local businesses have been contributing to the food bank?
We have a lot of local supporters here in our community. Without our community business supporters, we actually would not be able to open our doors every single day. We have beautiful partnerships with every single grocery store that's here in town. We do a program that's called Reclamation. So we do take products from them that they might not be able to sell, but are still perfectly acceptable for us to be able to give to our clients in our shopping model. We also partner with programs like Dairy Queen, who provides us with bananas. Little Caesars keeps us in pizzas. Soul Live will keep us in ready-made meals in microwavable containers for our clients that are using shelters that don't have access to full kitchens. The list goes on, and I could literally talk all day long about the beautiful community support that we have.
Awesome. So any small business, regardless of the size, it sounds like there's ways that they could partner with you, whether it's through the monthly giving. And I'm sorry, what did you say the monthly giving campaign was called?
We're still settling on a final name, but it's Champions of the Orangeville Foodbank.
I love
So
it.
the idea is that we're championing the food bank, and we're going to be continuing on in that commitment to the institution, beyond just like doing a one-time thing. But yeah, again, there's so many businesses who are already doing so much. So I think this is kind of trying to bring more people on board in a way that is actually it's really easy. There's no like logistical difficulty, for a food business like Pia's or Soul Live, we've come to the back door of the food bank and we have like large loaves of bread. Sometimes like we just don't sell a lot of sandwiches. So we will bring those. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, we'll do actual food donations. But there's a lot of non-food businesses that could just easily, we have a website, go online, you put in your information, you can put a credit card or, and then you don't even have to think about it. And it's $150 a month.
Perfect. So it's just an automatic payment kind of process, $150. Exactly. And you were saying that there's a possibility if some business is maybe a micro business or just doesn't have the finance to commit the full $150.
To get together with other businesses. So for instance, I think small businesses struggle. And I don't want to make it seem like $150 is easy because it's not. It's a lot for Pia's. And I'm sure there's even micro businesses, smaller businesses that would want to participate. And so what I encourage them to do is, let's say, I can't even think of an example, but let's say you're an esthetician or something like that. Maybe get together with the other people in your industry and make a little team. And
if each person contributes $50 and you get 3 groups together, then that's your $150 for a group. Exactly. Monthly giving is really important for us at the food bank because it allows us to plan accordingly. So sometimes we have the opportunity to purchase in bulk and we can look, forward to saying, okay, we know that we're going to have this guarantee of some money coming in. So let's go ahead and make that large bulk purchase that we may not be able to make accordingly. It also allows us to plan to keep the lights on and keep the heat on in the food bank, which is really important to us.
Fantastic. And from a small business perspective, especially if you're in a team of 3, if you're paying $50 a month instead of writing a one-time check of $600, which may be a lot harder for a small business to come up with that kind of cash flow, it helps you balance your expenses and your income as well as a small business owner to have that steadily expense. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Is there any other success stories, any other businesses that you're aware of doing different things other than, food donations, or, what other ways can the business community give back? Do you need volunteers still for the food bank?
We are constantly in need of volunteers. However, we have 206 active volunteers right now, and they are the magic behind the miracles that we get to watch happen every single day at the food bank. They work tireless hours, and everyone has their own responsibility within the food bank, and they just really drive to make sure that it is the best experience for our clients when they're coming in every single day.
Well, that's fantastic. We talk about, as our social enterprise, we talk about philanthropic giving and volunteerism. So we encourage businesses, if they can, to pay their employees to volunteer somewhere that resonates for you, instead of making them do that after hours or on their own time. If you can make that as a few hours a week, a few hours a month as part of that. So obviously that would be something that you would be interested in. And there's many other opportunities, ways to volunteer in the community.
So having the community groups come in, whether it's from a business or a local organization, such as, the Girl Guides or a church group, I love having them come in, being able to tour them through the facility, because I think there's a lot of outreach programs that many people in the community just don't know about. So it really opens up that conversation. And then we can do some activities about how they can give back. Can we, do some meal package, like if you were to order from Good Food, ready-made meal kits, or can somebody help in the kitchen for a certain amount of time? Can we do some stocking? Can we do some shelving? It really is important to be able to give back and to experience what is happening at the food bank.
Yeah, that's really neat, that what is happening behind the scenes piece. A number of years ago, we had, I believe, a Women in Business event at the food bank, which was the first time I'd ever set foot in. I donate at the grocery store. I don't actually go to the food bank. So we went in and we got to see the behind the scenes, and I was really surprised. It's basically set up, if people haven't been there, it's basically set up as a grocery store, and people are allowed to get what they need, what they'll actually use and want for their family. Can you explain that situation a little bit to me, please?
Absolutely. So some food banks still operate on a hamper basis, where if you go in, they're going to give you a box of products. But I don't know about you guys. I'm very particular as to the brands that I'm going to use, whether it's going to be Heinz or French's or Kraft Dinner or no name brand. So when people come in and they're able to do their own shopping, it is a dignified and respectful manner. But not only that, it helps to reduce the amount of food waste that we see happening. So they can come in and we partner them with the concierge, and that concierge will help them through the shopping program, helping them pick products that might be best suited to their family needs. We also have a really cool shelf. It's called the Honor Shelf, where these products are slightly past their best before date. But if they were in my pantry, they're totally viable. And what our clients can do is they can shop from those shelves when they're shopping with their concierge and save some points for when they're shopping in the rest of the food bank. And so, for example, if I needed pickles and I could get pickles off the Honor Shelf, that's not going to cost me any points. And then I can use that to maybe increase my fresh fruits and vegetables, or get something else that might be a treat, like cookies.
Oh, that's amazing. And fresh fruits and vegetables, I always think of canned goods as a donation for a food bank, but you have quite a section of fresh products as well, right?
We do. We partner with a lot of local farms as well, including Fiddlefoot Farm. One of the things that people might not know about the food bank, but 54% of all product that goes out the front door is perishable items. So milk, eggs, meat, fresh fruits, and fresh vegetables. We actually have really strayed away from the Kraft Dinner, Zoodles kind of idea of the food banks and moved into a healthier, more maybe nutritious community support. And I've actually had clients say to me at the front door that they're actually eating healthier now that they come and see us. And I think that if you look at the costs on the medical field, it actually reduces the cost overall.
That's fantastic. And then it's more of an experience too, that families can actually cook together instead of open something from a package and mix it up, right?
Yes. We also offer educational workshops on how to cook with the products that we have available at the food bank to be able to make. Our vision is a well-nourished community. So we really try to make sure that we are covering the gauntlet on what that might look like.
Fantastic. And it's amazing that you're getting fresh produce from like a local farm. So, I always see things through also an environmental lens where, you're you're reducing food waste, which is good for the environment, and you're getting something from a local farmer, so it's not coming from super far away. And that's, just reminding people all the goodness in our community.
Absolutely. We also have at the county building a 50 by 50 plot for gardening. So we are able to harvest our own lettuce and vegetables throughout the entire summer months.
Yeah, that's a fantastic spot and a great place actually for students to volunteer. I know that there's like a summer job actually that's available for students to garden those plots through the whole summer, which is awesome.
Oh, what a fantastic summer job. You'd be giving back to the community and gardening and learning skills. And that sounds like a win-win. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful collaboration.
That's fantastic. And then we talked about the environmental impact. So if you do on occasion have, breads that they get too stale that you can't use or leftover vegetables, do you have a program in which they're recycled?
We do have a program. So for most of our non-perishable products, we're able to partner with some animal sanctuaries, so we can send that product to them. But we do try to think outside the box. So if we have some bread that is no longer able to be given to our clients, we look at making breadcrumbs or croutons. We do have access to a commercial kitchen, which was provided to us through a grant that we received. So we try to think outside the box on how to minimize the amount of waste that's going out.
Well, that's fantastic. So really utilizing everything that's donated, everything you can. And if you can't, then you have options for donating it back to support animals. That's amazing. That's fantastic. So with the Champions campaign, you said your goal is to have 150 businesses participating. How is
or individuals?
Okay, so it's businesses or individuals.
It could be individuals as well. There's it's an interesting place that we live in, Dufferin County, and the wider area. We see, as Carrie-Anne's saying, there's so much need and people are really struggling, but there's also incredibly wealthy people who live in this community and certainly could easily do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. We do have a very generous community.
Yes.
We're very fortunate that a lot of the charities have a few benefactors who are really, really generous, which is amazing. Yeah. So if businesses or individuals are interested in getting involved, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
So we have a link on our website at the Orangeville Foodbank that will take them directly through to Canada Helps and give them all the information that they need about how to become involved in our Champions event, our Champions program that's coming up.
Yeah. And there is actually, we are going to be launching, we have a launch meeting coming up. I don't know if the date's been set yet, Carrie-Anne.
November 22nd.
Okay, November 22nd. So that is the launch event for the program. But then in the spring, there's going to be a larger event that is the kickoff for the whole program. So between November 22nd and the spring, June 6th, that's when all of us who are involved are going to be going out gathering our champions. Fantastic. So I'm going to be going into the small business community and asking businesses to join us. And then other folks who are on our volunteer board are going to be getting individuals. And we're going to be doing our outreach essentially from November 22nd on through the winter. And hopefully really by the time we hit the spring, we'll have a lot of people.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love the continuity of it so that every month people will be getting involved. That's fantastic. I know obviously the food bank is a huge passion of yours at Pia's, but there are other things that you do to give back to our community. What would you suggest that how should you suggest local businesses find what resonates with them and how to get involved?
I think it's sort of in your ethos of your business. What can you do for Pia's? Obviously, food is really important because we are a food business. We've also spent a lot of time advocating for preserving agricultural lands, partially because a lot of the food we serve, predominantly comes from Ontario and in particular local farms. And so we've done a lot of work around, making sure we protect the green belt, making sure we take care of the farmland that feeds us and the waterways that we need to, keep ourselves healthy and the environment. So that's the kind of work that resonates with us. But it's also, talking to your customers, as a business, figuring out, what is important to your customers and I think having those conversations is really important because I'm sure every business owner knows, some of their regulars, what's important to them. Why do they come to your business? Do they have, an initiative that they're really passionate about that maybe you can support? So those are some of the things I would suggest for sure.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So it's not just about your values. Of course,
No.
your own corporate values are huge. They drive everything you do, but knowing what your customers value and tying in those things.
Exactly. Our customer base is also, we have so many people who love the theater.
Yes.
Like the theater, the theater ladies, we call them the theater ladies. They come in, on a matinee day, they eat at Pia's and then they go to the theater. We know that arts are just so vital to this community, which is why I love Orangeville so much. And so we do, we over the years have had a good relationship with Theater Orangeville, and not so much recently. I think there's just so many wonderful businesses just right around, physically right next to the theater. But in general, those are things that are important that, we can see from our customers. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Carrie-Anne, there are so many amazing things that are happening with the food bank. Is there any other projects that you have on the go or other ways people can be involved?
So we're always looking for volunteers. We have food drives that are happening basically quarterly right now. We have another one coming up November 23rd, and then we'll be looking into Easter. But we are celebrating our festive giving campaign, which will run straight through until the new year.
That's fantastic. That's great. So is there anything else either one of you want to say about the food bank or volunteering in general or giving back?
Just if you want to get involved, definitely come to the launch meeting. And I'm sure we'll provide you with the information that you can link to come to that launch meeting. And then if you want to get in touch with either Carrie-Anne or I to get involved, and if you're a small business and you want to, join Pia's, then, just come on in, come see me, and I can guide you in the right direction.
From our perspective at the food bank, we are so incredibly grateful for the work of our community members and for the Dufferin Board of Trade. Without community support, we would not be able to open our doors every single day to do what we do.
Oh, that's amazing. We'll definitely have the links available on the podcast so people can check out the general ways that you can support the food bank and in particular this giving campaign. I think that's amazing. So thank you both for joining us today. Thank you for watching the Good Business Dufferin podcast. It's been wonderful having both of you here today. You've shared such valuable insights on the growing issue of food insecurity, as well as the incredible ways that our community is stepping up to help combat these issues. Special thanks to both of you and to our sponsor, Rotomill, for sponsoring the episode and helping the local business community thrive. For more information on the Dufferin Board of Trade and the Dufferin Biz Hub, please visit our websites. Remember to like and follow this podcast so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, keep doing good business and building a strong community. Take good care. Rotomill Inc. leads asphalt recycling across Canada, offering top-notch milling, pulverizing, and in-place recycling to fit your project and budget. Choose Rotomill, the trusted name in road building.